Good morning and welcome to KidNuz. I'm Kim. Today is Wednesday, March 8th, 2023. And we begin with a high school sophomore, now the youngest player ever to go pro with the National Women's Soccer League. 15-year-old Chloe Ricketts of Michigan has just signed a 3-year deal with the Washington Spirit. The midfielder narrowly broke the record set by Olivia Moultrie, who was just 3 days older when she inked a deal with the Portland Thorns FC in 2021. Chloe's signing means she'll have to finish high school online, but she's okay with that. She calls rostering with the Spirit a dream come true. Columbia University is taking a stand against standardized tests. It's now the first of the Ivies to permanently drop the ACT and SAT as a requirement for applicants. In making the announcement, the school said its decision was rooted in the belief that students are dynamic, multifaceted individuals who cannot be defined by any single factor. Many colleges stopped requiring the test during the pandemic, but so far Columbia is alone among the Ivies in making the test optional policy permanent. If you're headed for a spring break trip to the west coast of Florida, beware the red tide. The nasty seafaring algae is back and brutal from Tampa south to Marco Island. The bloom makes trips to the beach a whole lot less enjoyable because the surf and sand are full of belly-up fish, and for humans, it's tough on the eyes, nose, and throat. Red tides are nothing nefarious. They occur naturally, typically pop up offshore in the Gulf of Mexico, and then blow toward land with winter winds. So far, this one hasn't made its way to Florida's east coast, but red tide watchers say it's entirely possible. Another high-profile celebrity is just saying no to social. Singer Billie Eilish told Conan O'Brien that she just acts the apps from her phone because she's gullible and tends to believe everything she reads, even about herself, despite knowing that most of it isn't true. She called the decision to take a break a huge deal because she grew up online and considers herself to be an internet kid. This isn't the first time Ms. Eilish has taken issue with social. She's spoken out several times about the comments she gets and the unrealistic expectations placed on girls and young women. A remarkable display of sportsmanship in a recent college softball game between Grandview University and Southeastern in Lakeland, Florida. Caitlin Moses hit a go-ahead grand slam for Grandview, only to get hurt as she rounded first. She couldn't continue, and the rules state that her own teammates couldn't touch her or help her. So rival Southeastern players picked her up, carried her around the bases, making sure she touched each one, even though doing so put them behind on the scoreboard. Later, under the media glare, the Southeastern players shrugged off their good deed, saying it was simply the right thing to do. In today's KidNuz notes, today is all about color. It's Holi Day on the Hindu calendar, a vibrant festival to welcome spring. Celebrations vary, but they all include a friendly color fight. People of all ages hit the streets early in the morning to douse anyone they meet with colored powder and water. At around noon, the crowds head home for a quick rinse, food, and often a well-earned nap. And you have to wonder what it's going to take for humans to get the message. On March 3rd, TSA scanners picked up another cat stuffed into a carry-on, this one at Virginia's Norfolk International Airport. The agency called it a potentially catastrophic mistake and appealed to the public again with the tweet, "Please do not send your pet through the X-ray unit. You need to let the cat out of the bag during security screening. The involved animal, like all the others before it, is just fine." That's it for KidNuz this morning. Now our KidNuz quiz, generously sponsored today by the Schlossberg family of Houston, Texas, to shout out and congratulate Esty on turning 5. Your mom, dad, and Philip wish you a happy birthday. Love you and know how much you care about planet Earth. Now today's quiz. How did 15-year-old Chloe Ricketts make history? She's the youngest player ever signed to a pro contract with the National Women's Soccer League. What Ivy League school just dumped its ACT and SAT requirement permanently? Columbia. The algae that's fouling southwestern Florida beaches is known as what? Red tide. Which popular young singer is taking a break from social media? Billie Eilish. In today's KidNuz Kicker, how daring are you when it comes to dessert? Would you try ice cream that is made from and topped with crickets? A cafe in Germany just introduced the crazy concoction, which is a frozen blend of cricket flour, heavy cream, vanilla, and honey, all whipped up and sprinkled with more of the dried bugs. The owner says he worked all winter to get the recipe just right, knowing full well he'd probably get some pushback, and he has. But he also says he has a handful of customers who come in every day, chirping for a scoop of ice cream crickets. Thank you again to the Schlossberg family of Houston, Texas for underwriting today's quiz. Happy birthday to Esty and a big hello to Ms. Osden and the Silkies class at the Fay School. And to our other KidNuz classrooms, a shout out to Sydney Duggar's Warriors at Ewing Grade School in Ewing, Illinois. Hello to Mrs. Sailors and her Flyers at Blue Heron Elementary in Newmarket, Maryland. Mrs. Standis and her Eagles at Bauer in Hudsonville, Michigan. And to Georgia for Mrs. Barmer and her wetland investigators at Brookwood STEM in Dalton. And Miss Kelly and her Livesey Leopards Discovery class at Livesey Elementary in Tucker. Thanks for listening. A reminder that our critical thinking worksheet, The Noodler, is up on our website and ready for download. And we'll see you back here for more KidNuz tomorrow morning.